What is going on, Chaotix? It is your boy, ChaosMan006 here, and I'm very excited to bring you the beginning of the PDL Season 3. It is a continuation of the FPL and the FFL in the past. Right now we're going to be the PDL, and that is the Premier Draft League. Hopefully you guys got to come out and see our live stream where we went over all of the teams, and we went over everything going on with this season of PDL. In this Draft League season, which we're starting in the first week of December, so officially, I believe that is December the 2nd, is the official first day of this tournament. So, it's whatever day this is that this video is coming out on, because I'm going to be posting it the first day of the league. So, what is PDL? What is Draft League? Good questions to raise, so let's get under that right before we start this video and get into the whole team that I drafted this season. So, a Draft League is where coaches from different channels, different YouTubers, doesn't have to be YouTubers, it can be anyone who has influence in Pokemon battling. They come together and we pick a certain number of Pokemon as our team, and we bring 6 of those Pokemon each week to fight our opponents to see who actually becomes the champion of a Draft League. And you try to draft Pokemon so that you can cover everything in competitive play. But it's not exactly competitive play because you know what your opponent's going to be bringing. So it's very fun to customize your team, build your team up every single week with different strategies and different teams using different items. It's really fun and really addictive, and I really love it. What's changed in this season from the past season? One of the things is Mega Evolution does not have to happen first turn, which is very fun and really going to be beneficial for me in my Mega, as you will see later on in this video. And also, we have Z Crystals, can be used on any Pokemon, but you only are limited to one type of Z Crystal. So let's say you pick Normalium Z, any Pokemon with a normal move that is attacking, like a normal attacking move, can hit you. You're not going to be able to set up with it, like you can no Z Rain Dance if you have Waterium Z, and no Z Belly Drum if you have Normalium Z, things like that. You have to use them purely for attack, no boost. And so that's what, it's going to be fun to see how people incorporate their Z moves, in their Z Crystals into their team this year. We have some really cool trainers, really cool opponents, and I will try my best to remember to link them in the description below. But we have my boy 2E5 pulling in with the Darby Dawn fans. I always say it wrong. I'm sorry, but you spell it wrong. The Darby Dawn fans are coming back again for Season 3. This is the only team that's stuck around besides my team for all 3 seasons, so I'm glad to have 2E back into this. We have the Southampton Solgallios, coached by Ender Mewtwo, and he's really cool. Seems like he knows a lot. He's actually my week 1 opponent, so we're going to have a lot of fun battling him. Then we have trying to remember what's next, the Rhode Island Raticates and Coach Neurotic Neutral Gaming. He's going to be really cool. He also goes by Clinically Neurotic. Either way, cool guy, very fun, and I've heard a lot of good things about him, so I'm really excited to get battling him. We're coming back with another person from Season 2 and bringing back New 9001 with the New York Mets. Coming back again with this season, and it's really glad to have him back. I'm enjoying having our coaches from previous seasons comes back, but I'm also enjoying new coaches. And we're primarily new coaches. We're half and half this time, which is really interesting for me and really something I was glad to see. And then finally, and last but not least, we have joining us for this season is Brian, or the Soul of Cthulhu, coaching the Scarlet Strikers. So, really cool guy there as well. Another great guy that I have pleasure of working with on multiple things. So, I'm really happy to see this league kick off and see what we're going to deal with. All of them, I think, most of them anyway, have made their own video of breaking down their team, breaking down their own seasons and stuff. But I'm just going to be focusing on my draft, what I got this time. If you want to see what I think of all the other teams, you can go check out the draft stream. It is live on my channel. You can go find that. There will be a link at the end of this video for that as well. So make sure you go there if you want to see all my opinions. So I guess that's really all I have to say. I'm really excited. If you guys are excited, make sure you do leave a like to show your support for this series. And also let me know what you're excited to see, who you're excited to see, what matchup you want to see in the comment section below. And I'll be glad to state my opinion on that as well. But let's get into my team, what I drafted this season, and what I hope to use it for. So first and foremost, we pick up Garchomp, the actual league's mascot. I thought Garchomp was a really cool Pokemon. Something I actually never have used before competitively, because I think Season 1, 2, we took the Mega, so I couldn't draft the regular. And I forget who had it last season, but someone had it last season, so I couldn't get it, and they pulled it right before I wanted to draft it. So Garchomp was something I wanted to grab right off the bat, and as one of my favorite persons to watch who does draft league, A-Draft says, you want your first draft pick to be your best killer, your top hitter, and if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong. So I think Garchomp gives me that option to bring to the table. Of course, it's a ground and a dragon type. Pretty good typing for physical attacking, and pretty good typing for staying on the offensive primarily. Not really going to be a defensive Pokemon. It does have that 4 times weakness to Ice. It does have a really bad weakness to Fairy, which is common on some teams to see, especially in this league. A lot of people try to counter this thing, I believe, later in the draft, so a lot of people pick Pokemon that are water types that can learn Ice Beam, or have an Ice type that can come try to take me out. So Garchomp might not be the best spring for every match, but it is there, and it's going to be putting in some work. This thing can run a lot of different stats. It's really got phenomenal base attack and base speed, so a really fast hitter could be really nice to have, but it also has pretty decent defenses as well. Not the best. It is a pseudo legendary, but with a 4 times weakness or a really strong special attacker with like Scald or something like that, really could put a dent into this Pokemon. So it really depends on how I want to run it. Garchomp has a lot of items I can bring with it. Obviously, like if I want to run more defensive, I can run like Leftovers, or I can run maybe Life Orb if I want to hit harder. So things like that. I believe this thing also can take care of my Z move, so that would be fun to use as well. And you guys will see my Z Crystal at the very end because it's the last thing I drafted. My second pick, we did pick up the Alolan Ninetales. I went for the Fairy Dragon Steel Core right off the bat, and there's my Fairy. So, good. I also want to take this thing off the table because it does really mess with Garchomp, and I think they pair really well together, really combating each other's weakness. Ninetales really, like, is what you would want to bring to fight a Garchomp. So, taking this thing off the table means other coaches do not have the capability of bringing in a Alolan Ninetales and whipping my butt. So, this thing, really cool. Aurora Veil is a nice move also to have on this thing. I do have to bring Hail with it if I choose to use Snow Warning as its ability, so that is something to take a look at, but you can see Icy Rock coming to benefit from that. You also can see Leftovers, or maybe Life Orb or something like that. This thing can run a lot of different items too, and I'm really going to try to use this thing in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to bring it how it typically is seen with, like, the, is it Light Clay, I believe? So, you're going to see, or Icy Rock, it's Icy Rock. So you're going to see a lot of different variants coming, and that's what I drafted my team primarily around. Just to get that out there at the beginning, I drafted my team around multiple uses or multiple ways of running them instead of just focusing on, oh hey, this is a Mega Aggron like I did last season, and it's just going to be a defensive wall. Like, I drafted my team around different niches and different things they could do for the team, and different ways they would help with other Pokemon that would have to fight on the other teams. For the third pick, we picked up Jirachi. There's my end of my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I think it's a pretty solid Fairy Dragon Steel Core. One of the best out there. Alolan Ninetales is arguably one of the best, or the best Fairy type in competitive play. So I really wanted that to happen on my team, and I'm glad that was my second pick, and I got it. So Jirachi follows really nicely, gives me a Steel and a Psychic type. Again, we are looking pretty well covered here. Of course, you got to see Fire is a decent weakness. I mean, Garchomp can kind of counter that. Ground is sort of a weakness, but we have a coverage with Alolan Ninetales. Fairy is something they'll deal with. Ninetales helps with that too, and then Ice, obviously, Ninetales helps with that too. What else we see? So, I mean, these three work really well together. There's really no one typing that can take on all of them. Rock is probably your best bet, but then you got to worry about Garchomp destroying it as well. So, really nothing wants to take these three on. Really good core, I think, to have, and I think they really complement each other well. Jirachi being a mythical Pokemon with 100 in every stat makes this thing extremely useful and extremely versatile. I saw how Mew used the Mew last season, so I really wanted to try out this thing, and I'm trying to stay away from mythical Pokemon because I don't like running... I don't like having the variety of using every single thing out there and making this thing like completely uncounterable. But again, I wanted to try that, so that's what we're doing this season. I thought Jirachi might be a fun pick to have, so we're going to try out something new with that, different from my typical team setup. And Jirachi bulky, can run offensive, can run defensive, can run anything you want it to run. 100 base stats across the board, really nice, and no 4-time super effectiveness. So really great Pokemon, and I'm really excited to have it and see how it runs with its own niche is this season. Fourth pick, we come in with Lucario. This really was one of my tier 3 picks that I really wanted to get, something I wanted to pull up really fast. I think it really helps the team as well. It gives me another option for a steel type in my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. Also really good fighting type to have as well. I wanted a good fighting type. It's always a good thing to have in this league. Lucario has really good stats as well. Can run pretty much anything you want to run on it. And I really like how it can do that. Iron Fist, obviously one of its abilities, as well as Justified. If I think Dark types are going to come, I can bring that as a way to help Jirachi. So this thing's got a lot of different things it can do, and it's a really good pick for me to have. Gives me a nice fighting type, and I really enjoyed that. Fifth pick came in Mismagius. I wanted something that was going to be a nice powerhouse in a lower tier, so tier 4 pick, nice grab for this thing. Really can run a lot of different coverage moves, and it's also a really really bruising of a Pokemon. So this thing can really take a lot of opponents out really fast, and that's going to be a lot of fun for me to run that way. I'm really excited to see how Mismagius runs this season. I've seen other people use it, and I really wanted to pull this Pokemon onto my team for those reasons. For the 6th pick, we come in with Incineroar, something I actually had last season. This begins my first ever repeat on my team. Something I wanted to use last season, but I don't think I ever really brought it. I had it on my team late in the year because I traded it out, but I didn't really think I brought this thing, and I wanted to give Incineroar a chance to actually put in some work. Again, that Intimidate ability is going to be phenomenal, dealing with those physical attackers that really can put some dents into some of my Pokemon on my team. So it gives me nice coverage there. Also gives me a way to deal with Psychic type moves, as I didn't have a way to deal with those previously. Besides Jirachi, and I really don't want to use Jirachi for a stall in that sense unless I absolutely have to. Like Incineroar can't be used for a match, be really good for there. Incineroar really gets some nice coverage moves like Leech Life, U-Turn, Darkest Lariat's awesome because it avoids stat changes, so this thing could be really nice for me to have those things too. And then of course like the fire type moves and other things like that. Fighting type moves also come in effect. So this thing is really good for a lot of diversity, and that's what we're going for this team. So I'm glad to pick up Incineroar and add it to the fray this season. Also shout out to Incineroar and Smash, even though I really don't like this Pokemon. After halfway through the draft, we come up with Regirock. Okay, so not my favorite pick in the world, but something different and something I wanted to do. If you look at my team, we're primarily offensive, and that's not really a great thing. At this point in the draft, we have some really bulky teams and some really detrimental things to come up against us. So I thought a Regirock would be really nice. 230 base defense, I believe, and then 100 something in special defense as well. So this thing can take some hits, and I believe it can work really well for our team. It gives me a rock type as well, and rock types are never bad to have. They're pretty neutral across the board, so this thing is really nice to have on that sense as well. Then we pick up Nidoqueen as my other tier 3 pick. I needed 2, and really my other one was covered because of the Incineroar pick. I was going to pick Salazzle, but I didn't really want Salazzle. I thought Incineroar could work better, and I primarily drafted that for one reason, and then I didn't really need to draft it. So you might see some of my team getting switched up here and there, but ultimately Nidoqueen made a lot of sense. Something I used back in the first league that we did. I didn't actually use it, I think, at all. Maybe 1 week to like set up hazards because I had 3 ground types, so I traded this thing away pretty fast. But I wanted to bring it back. It does have the nice hazard ability, as I mentioned, but it also can tank some hits, so it gives me some really nice moves there. And it also gives me poison stabs to deal with those fairy types, which, as you can see, kind of caused some problems on my team. So Nidoqueen is going to be nice for that situation, and that's a good reason why I picked it up here. Next, we have the Mega Gyarados. As I alluded to in the beginning of this video, I have a really fun Mega I get to use, and I really wanted to use a Mega Gyarados, especially with the stipulations this year that you do not have to Mega Evolve first turn. It gives me a way to counter things like the 4x weakness to Electric if I want to Mega Evolve, but if I don't want to Mega Evolve, I can set up an Intimidate user or a Moxie to set up before I Mega Evolve. So this thing really can be a wild card and a nice cannon to have on my team. A nice ace in my pocket. So I think this Mega really picks up well in this meta game, and I think that a lot of teams are going to underestimate it. So I think this thing can work really well. It also could fail really bad because it does have a 4x weakness with the electric, and once it Mega evolves, of course, it gets other weaknesses like fighting and fairy. So keeping in track what's going on with that Pokemon is going to be one of my key things to deal with. Next up, we have Alolan Muck, as my screen shows. Alolan Muck was something I also had used in Season 1? Yeah, I used it in Season 1 because I fought Brief with it, yeah. So this thing, something I wanted to bring back. Good typing, really good typing, solid against ground types, however, solid against everything but ground types. However, ground types run this league and run the upper tiers, so hopefully a lot of the other coaches didn't draft ground types. I think there are some ground coverage moves on some of the Pokemon, but ultimately this thing can put in some really good work. It can take a lot of hits and then Black Sludge to recover, or maybe leftovers if I want to run that for some reason, or maybe even a Life Orb or something like that to hit something really hard. Assault Vest even. This thing can run a lot of different things, so it's going to be fun to see my Muck get to play out this season, and I'm hoping I use it a lot better than I did Season 1. Next to my final pick, we pick up Mega Medicham. This thing was something that really wrecked my team last year, and I really wanted to use it after I saw Gazai Gamer had such great luck with it and such great usage of it. So Medicham made its way on my team, gives me another Psychic and Fighting type. So again, can cover the opposite of what Jirachi and Lucario do if I decide one of them I don't want to bring, but the other one I do. Or if both of them don't come and I just need a Psychic and Fighting type because I don't want a Steel type, this thing could come and power off really hard. Medicham puts in a lot of work, really, and with a wide move pool, really can benefit from dealing a lot of damage and being unpredictable. So I really wanted this thing, again, to fit my unpredictability on my team. And my final draft pick goes to Absol. This is really a niche pick at the end of the day. I wanted a nice dark type to have. Again, this thing has the best likelihood of being traded away because it was something I wanted before I picked up some of my other dark types. I wasn't sure that I really was going to get Mega Gyarados. I wasn't sure that I was going to get Incineroar. So this thing just kind of sat as my last pick with a nice dark type to have. But it does have some nice abilities. It gets rid of the Mega Absol for other teams, and that was something I really wanted to do because I hate Mega Absol fighting it. So it really gives me some options here. Again, Swords Dance looks like a great set to run on this thing. Sucker Punch also is there, so I got priority. But Absol really can just set up and wreck. Doesn't really need to set up and wreck either. It can just like spam knockoff or something like that and kill somebody. So this thing works out really well for me, and I'm really excited to have an Absol on my team and use it for the first time. And to round off my team, I have the Fightinium Z Crystal. A lot of my team can use it. As we mentioned, Garchomp has a possibility. I think Jirachi might get a fighting type move. Lucario definitely. Mismagius, Incineroar, Regirock, Nidoqueen I believe at least gets double kick. So there's that. Muck gets some fighting type moves, and then Absol and Medicham. So out of my entire team, at least 10 of my Pokemon get fighting type moves. But I thought that was really valuable, and a lot of teams have a lot of like steel types and rock types on their team. So this is going to be a really nice Z move that I can just launch off at pretty much anything and do a lot of damage with. So I think it was a really good pick to have there as well. The link on the screen just has the music in it, so I don't infringe copyright laws and crap because I don't like that. But it's there if you want to go check out the music. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this whole entire breakdown of my team. And the PDL will be coming to you very soon. As I mentioned, the league begins on December the 2nd, and it is a Sunday. We're beginning same time frame as last season, where we start at midnight on Sunday and go all the way to 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Of course, those times are Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you are checking your time if you are in a different time zone than Eastern Standard Time. Check your time zone, see the conversion, get it under your head so you don't miss an episode of this series. For me, my uploads are probably going to come Sunday after the week, so this video starts week 1, and then next Sunday, I will have the week 1 team builder, and then the Monday after that, I will have the actual match. So that way we have a consistent schedule, and I don't have to worry about changing the upload schedule because of missing matches and stuff like that, or running into a Saturday. Because running it with starting the team builder on Saturday and the match on Sunday mean I had to have my match done by Friday, so that way my opponent did not know what I was bringing. Or I didn't have to post the thing later because my opponent and I hadn't battled yet. So that is why we're doing it that way, so that way we don't have to worry about week 1 stuff being seen in week 1 against my opponent. You're going to see the matches again on Monday. I'll probably run it around noon or 1 Eastern Standard Time. Just be aware of those things that come up. So Sunday is the team builder, Monday is the match, and I hope you guys will enjoy watching those. Make sure you go check out all of the other coaches. Their links are hopefully in the description below if I've remembered to do it. I should remember to do it because I'm probably just going to pull it from the draft podcast. So also check out the draft podcast if you want to see my evaluations of my team again in light with the other coaches, the other councilmen, or if you want to see my introductions on all the other teams and seeing how they stack up. That is all I have for this video. I thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. Likes if you enjoyed, subscriptions if you are new and you want to stay up to date on everything with the PDL, because I am your commissioner, I am your host, and I run this league. So that is what we're doing there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I finally got this video recorded so the rest of my team, the rest of my league members can leave me alone from not recording it, because they already have theirs out pretty much. So go check them out as well. And that is all I have for you today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. I can't talk. But until next time, I'm ChaosMade006 signing off. Burn it up.